Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the DNVR Rapids Podcast. It's a loser's lounge, and it's a late night on a rainy Saturday. And boy, a 2-1 loss at home to Philly. It's a gnarly ending. I finally saw the video as I pulled up home here. So plenty to break down. It's a Yaya-less edition, no super Yaya, but I do have my guy. It's downtown Duane Brown.
What's up after that one? I feel like that's the theme. What's up? What's going on? What are we doing?
There is a ton to talk about. Connor Ronan gets his first goal. We get the debut of Bombito. Galvan had himself an evening. No Keegan. No, I mean, there's a million ways you can go. Let's just kind of go through the game flow. We open up kind of back and forth. It's a nice opening in terms of both teams are getting some runs and some long balls, and there's flow to start this game. About 20 minutes in, that completely ceases to exist, and it just turns into a slop fest. Fouls, long balls that don't go anywhere. It's just like no team gets more than 3 or 4 passes in, and it was a clunky start. Didn't look sharp.
It was two teams playing the same game.
Yep.
It really was watching unfortunately, one team did it better.
Yeah.
And we can jump into that second goal, and that's the evidence of it. But that second Philly goal. But you kind of almost knew it was going to be like a weird.
The vibes were off from the start.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously the Max News is hanging over the whole thing.
Yeah, the vibes were off. You knew it was going to be a weird game. Just knowing that it was going to be the Rapids play not the most exciting style until the counter happens. Yep. But you got to wait a lot to get there. But also Philly decided to do that.
So I mean, Philly basically almost mirrored Robin Fraser tonight.
It was an
interesting look and switch up for Curtin, and I mean, you can't knock it. I mean, they won, but they threw an extra center back out there. They really expanded their midfield, and you're right. I mean, you nailed it. We were talking about it. We were chatting about it during the game. They played rapid ball, and they played it better than the Rapids did. But not at first. At first, I mean, it felt like the Rapids were on the front foot for, I don't know, the first half hour or so. And it results in Rubio getting a VAR delayed penalty called. So it wasn't Rubio that steps up to the penalty spot.
I was so surprised by that.
Yeah, I see. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I was not surprised, because this exact same situation happened last year in the LAFC game. There were 2 penalties called. Do you remember who took the first one in that?
I do not.
It was Gyasi Zardes. He had not scored since joining the team. It was his 3rd or 4th match since joining the team. He hadn't scored yet. Gyasi takes the first penalty, and I am pretty sure for the rest of the season, no one else took a penalty besides Diego Rubio. But he needed to get him going and get him started. Ronan, no goals yet. Last week got some assists, but still hasn't found the back of the net. And I think it was a way of getting him going.
Yeah, I was surprised because I knew I thought Rubio was going to take it for sure, because he was so down about missing the previous penalty. Yeah. That's why I was like, okay, like he's going to fix it now, and go through. And so I was shocked because of that. Like, I thought, how Rubio is. Like, dude wants to win. Dude wants to make things right both for the club and for the fans. So that's where I thought he was going to take it and bury it. And then to see him give it to Ronan, like, super surprised me. And I think, it surprised me. And at the same time, I had the same thoughts that you did. He's letting Ronan get a shot at his first goal. Ronan doesn't take a lot of shots.
No.
So
maybe 1 or 2 a game at the most.
Yeah. So I think it's a little different than the Giassi thing, because Giassi was supposed to be scoring goals and he wasn't. But it was kind of it was such a classy, like, normal Rubio thing to do.
Well, and I also think who's the
teammate move?
Who's a actual penalty taker that would have less film available for Blake to guess where it's going, right?
That's like really, really, really strong.
Because I mean, maybe Leyva, but I mean, even then, he's at least been around the MLS, and there's probably a bit more of a scouting report. Do you trust? Lewis has enough tape on him. Mikey, it wasn't Mikey, it was Cabral. Don't totally know how he does from the spot. I haven't seen it yet, but
maybe Sam.
Yeah, but I mean, I like putting the guy up there that can just rock.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like
that guy. I don't know who would.
Blake guessed correctly too, but Ronan it was an absolute whistle.
He's
murdered.
And I was,
it was awesome.
I was on the other side of the stadium, so I went back and watched it, on Twitter a few times, and man, he just
great penalty.
I mean, we know he has a boot on him, from the highlight reels,
Oh yeah.
But, even if he had got a hand on it, it may have broken it and kept going anyway, because he just pummeled it.
Right after the penalty, the Rapids have a couple minutes later, Rapids have a huge break opportunity. And Rubio has it after a couple touches, and he's just past the halfway line. And Flock, whatever. The guy on the Philly defender takes him out from behind, gets a yellow. But that was really the last time for a long time that you really saw a wide open break that looked like it was going somewhere. Of course, 5 minutes later, Philly gets the goal. I mean, both their goals were class, absolute class. It's really tough to be mad, but that first one in extra time is like, what can you do?
Oh my gosh,
that's a professional ass goal. Like,
yes. And I was sitting down there, and it was painful.
It was far. See, all the interesting stuff happened on the other end, and it was tough. It was tough to see really that goal at all, because there was so much going on, and every time something starts down there, all of us are immediately in our keyboards, and then you look up and miss it. But man, what can you do? It's
nothing.
They showed their class tonight, honestly.
That goal was perfect.
So then you get into halftime, and it feels, that's where the kind of, I don't know if it's stress level, but the mood just really sets in there, right? You can tell that there's frustration, they're tired, they've been playing a ton. While I think the team is healthy, I don't think all the healthy parts are available to play yet, right? So you lose Max, Bassett's still not back. Acosta's nursing an injury. You just have this lack of depth in the midfield. Leyva, he's a kid, has only played one home game. It was the Open Cup game. He's got to be gassed. It was just I thought for a second we were going to see Hanya, just because he's the most in shape and in form midfielder. Yeah.
He didn't
really, but I think that was kind of the story of it, was that you only had Leyva and Ronan in that midfield, and there wasn't enough physicality. There just wasn't that extra pair of feet that you needed, right? Just to receive passes. It just felt, the whole formation just felt a little off, and you really felt that lack of midfield really badly tonight.
Yep.
I mean, I liked the starting formation though, so I can't really be, besides Keegan, who just kind of, I think they just gave him a night off. More like, hurt than injured, worn out than injured.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that first half formation?
No, I mean, the challenge is, again, you've got two teams playing the same exact game, and the Rapids are not used to that. And, when Philly plays that style and kind of bunkers in on defense, it's not how the Rapids are used to finding their counter and setting up for a shot. And so that formation, it struggled. It struggled with a defense that dug in, and kept them from taking shots, when we already struggle in that category anyway. So it was just that much harder, so yeah.
I'm just reading Logan's comment there about Sam, and he's way better on the left. I agree. There was a couple runs where he just, and we'll get to that. Just, man, brutal. Just so. Okay, so you come out of the half feeling definitely, better. Because it's kind of fast. Game's moving. You're feeling like maybe that break catches, and Philly gets a goal 52nd minute. And a well-earned goal. Great break. Perfect pass to the runner. Right at the edge of the box. Buries it one time. No doubt about it.
That goal. Yeah, that goal, if you go back and watch it, is the training video for what the Rapids try to do.
Yes, absolutely.
It is the training video. It was the perfect sit back counter, draw the guy out, pass it back to him. He's right there.
Yep.
It was perfect. And sad.
Then things kind of got interesting. Almost immediately, Cabral has this run off of a turnover where he gets just another great touch into the box. Lewis is on the other side, dead sprint, has a beat on both center backs. He's coming in fully from the left wing, and somehow the defender chases down Cabral and gets a boot on it like immediately. And it was a sure goal. There was a couple of these tonight where it was a sure goal, and just Philly just was a beat there faster.
Yep.
Then Galvan comes on for Marcanic, who I thought, man, Marcanic, I think it might be time to bring Gersbach back up and get Marcanic some R2 run, because between the Open Cup game where Sacramento could just get any cross they wanted all night long, there was no pressure for Marcanic on the wing. And then this game, you can see it in flashes, but I think it's time to see what else we have on the outside. Of course, Beta not being in the 18 today definitely changed that too. But what it gave us was we get Galvan the wing back, right? Which is what everyone, I think, once we saw the commitment to the 5 back, was like, okay, maybe we get Galvan the wing back. Thoughts on Marcanic / Galvan back at that position?
No, I agree. We're back to talking about wingers again.
You're right.
and you're not wrong, to bring that up. And yeah, I thought,
this outside back position is a little different, right?
Sure. Of course. Yeah. But, it's been a few games, like you're saying with Marcanic, and I don't think it was awful. But I don't think he's won the position, and that's where it was like, seeing Galvan, it's looking like he's healthy enough to play. There was a spark of hope. I have another thought on that about the ending of the game.
Yes,
but I'm not going to jump into that yet.
No. Let's keep going through the game.
So I'll leave it as, at the time of the game, a nice spark of hope to see him coming back in and running, like not seeming like he's still recovering, but seeming like he's in pretty good fitness to be able to play.
You get a chance right after that substitution. Cabral with just like a great touch through the back line. Rubio's running up. He puts a shot, rebound. Lewis gets a shot. Cabral's there to clean up the mess, jumps over Blake, does not touch him from what I have seen. I only saw one replay really quickly. Did he actually clip him? Did Cabral get Blake that first time? Because that kind of sets up everything.
I'm going to say no, but I'm also not watching it. I'm not watching it on television. I do sit right there on the goal line.
Yeah, you had a way better view than any of us. That was on the other side
there.
of the field.
C38 has the best view of that, obviously.
Logan says he does not. My guy. All right, that's what I thought.
But looking at the replay that they showed on our amazing Jumbotron that we all love.
Yeah, it's a great Jumbo. Such a good Jumbotron.
I did not see any contact, which is why I put the GIF on Twitter that I did from Star Wars and Return of the Jedi, where Luke kicks at the bad guy and he misses him by like 3 feet, but the guy falls back and throws his gun anyway. It was immediately what I thought of. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's that scene from Star Wars.
That was the
it was such a, it just to me looked, there were okay.
Hold on. Okay, now Cody says for sure he clips him. Okay. So we got Cody. So you were live though? See, like Logan, were you live? I have to know because literally, if he flopped that and sold it, Blake starts this whole thing at the end. The whole thing at the end is because of this moment, and I'm just so convinced that Cabral missed him. Either way, that was their best chance.
Yeah, I want to know if the replays are available on MLS of that particular close-up.
Yeah, I gotta find it. Either way, tons of yellows in this game. So many yellows. We'll get into that.
Also look into this just for the MLS in general. I don't know what the number is, but it was a red card extravaganza in MLS today.
Yes, it was.
Not just ours. It was
in Chicago.
Red cards everywhere.
There was a lot. Okay. So the next big chance is that Sam run I talked about, where it's just if he's on the left and it's Keegan or whoever on the right, it's a better play. But Galvan, the play is awesome because Galvan has that where he's pinned up against the corner on the back left corner, and he just touches his way out in a way that none of the other outside backs would be able to do. So that was awesome to see. He was all over the place in terms like physically. His heat map has got to be the field. Galvan was it's great to see. I mean, I don't know if he's going to play for a couple games, but so then Acosta and Mikey come on. Lawless and Cabral come off. Lawless on the yellow. So it was just a 4-man back line with, really just a 3 back line with Marcanic, or not Marcanic. Who was on at that point? Who's on the other side? Oh, so it's Sam, Maxu, and Wilson is the back line for like a few minutes. Very strange. Very strange.
I think at that point Fraser was like, we're already losing. Let's just put as many runners out as we can get.
And then
I will say the Sam substitution came way too late for me.
Way too late. You're right. That comes up now. Well, comes up right now. 80th minute. 80th minute, we get Bombito for the first time with the first team. He's played R2, but this was his first time getting on the field with the first team. Prizo comes on, Leva Nicholson off. So you basically are ending it with Rubio, Lewis, Barrios across the top, Acosta, Priso, Ronan in the midfield, and then Wilson, Bombito, Maxu on the back with Galvan wherever. Just all over the field.
Wherever he happens to be.
Yeah, wherever he ends up after the play. That's his new position. So I thought that was a pretty interesting lineup. I mean, obviously Keegan is in that back line in the ideal starting lineup, but I mean, Rubio, Lewis, Barrios, Acosta, Priso, Ronan, that's like, there's plenty of support to play it out from the back line. There's defense. There's great crossing between Acosta and Ronan. I don't know. I thought that was about as good of an 11 to finish that game needing a goal as you could have put out based on the 18.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that was clear. They were no longer concerned about defense, and it was all press. Like, we're already losing. there's no difference losing 10-1 or 2-1. It's still a loss. So I was happy that those changes were made. Some of them I wish were made a little bit early. It just felt like until that moment, the Rapids, especially in the second half, like soon as they came on, were just sluggish, man. And I don't know if we're seeing the effects of Open Cup success, but it's just, and like you said, even on the defense, it's like Philly had a step on us, and the one thing we have is speed, and our speed was not there today. Like we were.
Here's the thing. It's because Rubio is asked to do so much you only have those two midfielders, right? When it's Leyva and Ronan, the physical presence in the midfield all of a sudden has to be Rubio, right? Like,
yep.
And then he's sprinting to get into an attacking position. He's sprinting back, and he's just covering so much. And you can tell he is so tired. Like he's just so tired.
Gosh.
The last few games, he is just exhausted. But you need him out there. Like he's, you don't
have anybody else.
He is the embodiment of the team. And, as Rubio goes, so goes the team. And he just looks worn out. I don't know.
A lot of the team looks worn out.
They really do. They need Bassett back. And like he was practicing, like I saw him practice in person.
And Acosta,
full speed.
Acosta
played. Bassett gets that much closer. Keegan comes back from just getting some rest. If Bombito's good to go, Keita was practicing fully too. Does seem to be reinforcements on the way. But can they get to that? Right? Because getting sketchy. Okay. So you have that for the last 10 minutes plus stoppage. So 20 something minutes. My note is can't believe Yaya is missing the Bombito debut pod. I said that before the end of the game. Shout out our guy Yaya in Puerto Rico. That son of a gun. Galvan. Okay, 90th minute. Oh man, Galvan gets that cross across the goal, and Acosta misses it by you were closer than I was. So from my standing on the other end of the field on the second deck, it looked like a prime chance.
Yeah.
Prime chance.
There was a Lewis there too.
Yeah, and then someone else was right behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. It just
Galvan, man. I was trying to pump the brakes, but God, he's looked good when he's been on. We'll get into it, I guess. But
yeah.
Colorado's getting some corners. Rubio gets a shot that it looked like he was really just trying to hit some feet in the box and kind of make some junk happen. And I think that was the rest of the game, really, because that's when the fight happens. And man, I see that play happen. You see, is it Mikey? Who
starts
I don't know.
Mikey.
Did Mikey shove him? Did he get hands on him? Was it Blake felt hands, so he dove. See, I don't know. But I go down to start typing out a tweet, and then all of a sudden I look up and there's just a fracas is the word I used. I was pretty proud of myself for that vocabulary word today. And it's just shoves and people holding each other and pulling each other and screaming. We're on the other side of the field. We're just, we're guessing. Everyone would press row. But I think Galvan, and maybe Cody's right, and I think that's going to be before Flowers. That'll be our, maybe discussion here is how much that played into this game or the mentality, because Galvan, there's video. Warner's our guy.
Not yet, Kale.
It's sort of. We're almost there. Shout out to producer Kale on a Saturday night.
Kale's helping us out tonight.
Everybody
staying up late with
Kale.
us.
Big W for Kale.
After being up all hours of the night covering
he's
the Nuggets.
So Galvan apparently spit on Jesus Bueno. according to our guy
what it
Wanners,
looked
who sent
like.
that
Yeah,
to us.
Wanners sent a tweet in response to you that looked.
Well, okay, so I said stay classy, Philly. So here's why
Yeah.
I said that. And I think some people are thinking that I am putting that fight on Philly. And that's not what I was referring to, because Bedoya is just chirping from the bench. He's already been subbed off. He's just talking. And Galvan is like, I mean, he takes his shirt off before he even leaves the field, and he is like pointing at Bedoya. They are screaming at each other. So you have Galvan trying to get at Bedoya, Rapid staffers and Philly staffers are kind of like keeping them separate. Literally, Bedoya starts talking at like Rapid staff, not Galvan, but he is now chirping and cursing and talking shit to actual staff. And so that was my reference, was because the bench, I thought the Philly bench was being ridiculous tonight. That's the best view I have of the field. It's right there.
Philly was pretty ridiculous towards the end of the game already. Just a lot of
wasting so much time,
like just the time wasting, and like,
so that was my stake.
That was a slow build. Yeah. It was a slow build to that.
I thought they were begging for a fight with the way they were acting towards the end of that game. And then specifically as they're leaving. So you get a red card to Galvan, yellow to Mikey, and then you get yellows to, let's see here. Yeah, so red card to Bueno, yellow to Jack Elliott, yellow to Glesnes, red card to Galvan, yellow card to Barrios. And you probably could have handed out 4 more cards. Right? Like, I honestly, whoever was watching this or has seen the replay or were watching from home, I don't know what started it. I mean, I think Mikey put 2 hands on the back of Blake going over the end line, I think, but I don't know because it's really far. It looked like Blake flopped because I also thought he flopped the first time. So I don't know. It's unfortunate, and I'm gonna have to watch the videos, and I'm gonna have to rewatch the game tonight. I always rewatch the home games because it's just a better camera angles and views and stuff. What'd you see? You're right there. It's just right in front of you. And what was your immediate takeaways?
I have one takeaway from this whole thing.
Okay.
Carelessness from Galvan. He hurt the team with that. He was nowhere near that play and then just comes running in. Like, I get it, standing up for your team. And it's one of the things I've always loved about Galvan since the beginning is that he doesn't take any crap from anybody. And I've always loved that about him. But you also have to make the best decision for your team, and you have to control your emotions, especially when it's something that you're not a part of. And now he's suspended for at least 1 game. Maybe more. I don't know.
We'll see.
But I know that the stretch that we're heading into is very difficult. This might be the toughest stretch of the entire season that we're heading into. And now we're down another guy because he made poor decisions.
I mean, at Atlanta Wednesday night, home to Salt Lake, home to Cincy, at Columbus, home to San Jose, at Orlando, home to Vancouver, home to Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Western Conference stretch with, some Eastern roadies in there.
Yeah. It's tough. Not an easy stretch. Like those teams, you've got a stacked Atlanta team. You've got Cincy, who's very good. RSL isn't necessarily
2 RSLs,
good.
2 RSL home games in a row. That's like,
and it's just, for me, it's you are damaging the team by making a move like that.
You're right.
Because now we're down a guy. We already are struggling because we're down Max now, and Bassett's gone and Price is gone, and
Bassett has got to be close. And I know
I think he's getting close.
I think he plays. I don't think he plays in the Dome, but I do think he plays one of those 2 Salt Lake games.
Yeah, he might, but it's careless, man. It's reckless. It's not good for the team.
That gets away from the point.
It doesn't matter like who started it. I do think somebody said we look like the bad Logan said that we look like the bad guys in that fight. And from what I saw, like I agree 100%. Like we looked reckless at that point, and now we're gonna pay for it because we're down a guy for multiple games now.
Yeah. I'll say this. And interestingly, down a guy, Hanya is not going to be that short-term call-up, won't even make it to that midweek game. So
no, because it's like 4 days long.
So we didn't even use them. And you only get 4 short-term call-ups all season. They've already used one.
And each one can only last 4 days, right?
So yeah, weird timing. Doesn't make a ton of sense. But yeah, look, I don't know. There's not a lack of leadership out there. We know that, right? Between Rubio, Yarby, Maxu, Wilson, Ronan, even, who's young, but I still think there's leadership qualities there. That wasn't the problem. I really think it's an emotional week. I mean, everyone I've talked to 20 plus Rapids people just saying hi, how's it going, right? What's up? The vibes, everyone is in the dumps. Everyone. It's hard not to be. The team, players, coaches, staff, technical staff, front office staff. How could you not be? How could you not be bummed out? Max is a presence in that locker room, despite the language barrier, right? Happy, good vibes magnet / mirror, where he just gets, they go out. He reflects all the good vibes, gets them all out there, gets people smiling, talking, laughing. And I think when you see the severity of the alleged infractions, there's the extra hurt when it's the guy you would least think would be in that, right?
For sure. Yeah.
If you're thinking of Brazilians on the Rapids that I would think were caught up in that, it would be like if you told me it was Lucas, right? You're like, that guy's a hothead. He's insane. He's, you're like, okay, that tracks, but Max just doesn't fit the profile as the guy, as the person, right? And it just, I think it caught everyone off guard, and I think emotions piled up as the game got chippy and physical, and they lost their head. They lost their head.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what can, hopefully that, and I, sometimes I don't love going to the pressers. You get out so late. We start the show so late, it's all this stuff. But tonight I would have asked what the message was in the locker room, because hopefully that's it. You got out this fight. You let out peak emotions, right? Whether it was anger, frustration, whatever. You let out the maximum version of those emotions on the field in a game. Now you're done. You have a crowded schedule coming up. You still have to do it as a team. Let's go. Right? Maybe.
Sure.
Like where's it? Thanks, Duane. You left me hanging there.
Drop a few F-bombs in there because you're Fraser. No, I mean, I say that only because what else can you say? It's just, I feel that's the answer that you would have gotten if you'd asked that question. I feel we're not going to get any answers about this because it's such a serious situation. And like you said, Max is very well liked. I've never heard anything other than the best things said about him.
Genuine.
From people in the organization, players, front office, everything has been nothing but the best possible thing.
It's not a coworker vibe. It's a friendly,
total. And
that vibe does exist in sports. Some people are just your coworkers. This guy was a teammate. This guy was a presence, and it's got to be tough. I don't really have a ton more on that. The game ends on that. The
weird ending too.
Well, the VAR red card being the last action and not
Yeah,
not even giving one more.
Off.
Yeah, it was strange. I guess they figured if Philly's kicking it off, they send it deep, then you blow the whistle. What's the point? Just get these teams off the field.
There were still a couple minutes though. I mean, there was still like a minute, and then you had to.
Probably should have. There was about 30 seconds from our timer on press row, so maybe.
But then you had extra from all of the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So maybe you let them play for another minute, but at that point, I think they just wanted these guys off the field. It ends.
I will quote Penny, my daughter, whenever we watch, and she doesn't like when the ref gives us a card. She always says, that ref deserves a card, because she thinks it's funny to say that, and it is. But I think tonight, like, I think that referee deserves a red card for tonight.
Very strange.
Not a great night, and I think he should have a night or two off. However long Galvan is suspended should be how long that referee has.
The reputation off. Coming in was not, this ref isn't card happy, has control of the game. Yeah. 0 of that.
He didn't on Super both bummer. Of those. Yeah.
Excited to see Bombito play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good sign that there's another true center back that they trust enough to throw out there, because having just the 3 and relying on Keegan to slide in has been scary. Let's see, big picture stuff before we get into Flowers. I can't really think of anything else, man. Just another tough game for Rubio. Cabral had his moments, but overall, I think they're still trying to find that right starting mix up top. All right, let's do it. Let's get into those Flowers, Kale. You can throw that up there now. Let's talk Flowers from the fellas. There's probably some to give out, not a ton.
A little shorter segment than usual.
This is not going to be the longest Flowers. Drop your Flowers in the chat there. Do you have one off the top you want to give out, Duane?
Sure, man. I mean, how can I not give it to Ronan?
Right.
I'm just happy for him. I'm happy that he got a goal. He's had a tremendous week already with 3 assists and being, named to MLS Match of the Week. He's had a great week. He played well tonight, as he could, for a game that was not great. But just super happy for the guy. He's not a shot taker. So I was real happy that he had that opportunity, and just, it was nice to see him kick the ball at a goal, because we've seen all those highlights, and it's like, we know how big of a boot he is, and dude just
that was a rocket.
I mean, he smashed it at that.
No, goal. That was a great penalty. That was a fantastic
awesome.
penalty.
So, just real happy for him. It was awesome.
We've really just, obviously the answer to this is Jack Price, but there has to be, he's so good when that 6 is behind him and able to be the conduit between the midfield and the attackers, and not the back line in the midfield. It's just, it frees him up so much.
He's so much better there.
And so, hopefully Prizo can kind of build into that. Acosta being back, I think Acosta and him are great together. So we'll see. And
I think we'll see more shots once he's able to do that comfortably, when he has confidence that someone.
Well, because I think if Acosta can start, then Ronan can kind of pick up some of what Max was doing, right? While also kind of still doing what he's doing, which means Rubio can push up higher. I think it's just going to unlock a lot, but he's so in control. He's so aware too. He's able to just turn around into space whenever he wants. Organized. Overall, he's been really impressive. Just an absolute good signing. The other good signing, and I'm going to agree with Logan here, and it goes to Maxu and Danny Wilson together, because I think, Lawless played a shorter amount of time, got the card. I thought he was a little all over the place, but Maxu, as always, just Mr. Reliable, and I thought Wilson was great distributing, and. Especially when it's Sam and Markinek as your wing backs, it's tough. And Galvan, who could be anywhere by the end of the play, to just have Wilson and Maxu able to distribute and really get the plays going in a way that was not quite readily available last season, we'll say. It was good to see. So, the 2 goals, I don't think the defense was necessarily bad on either one of those. It was just perfect.
They got the second one they got just straight.
They just got beat.
On.
They just got
beat.
I don't think it was, what are you going to do?
They got what we've been trying to do all season.
Yeah, absolutely.
They got it worked. The counter worked really well. And that first goal was just, that was a goal of the week type goal.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Man, they still don't want to game at home. I can't believe it. It's insane. Flowers. You got another one, Duane?
My other one was going to be for Wilson, so we already did that.
Well,
so yes, I agree with that.
I think Leyva, I don't think he was great necessarily, but you were not getting minutes in Seattle. You show up, you play that Open Cup game, but it's against Hailstorm, whatever. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're not a critical piece to this, bud. And I don't think he necessarily was a negative as much as he just wasn't a positive.
Yeah.
And honestly, until Bassett, Acosta, everybody is healthy again, we'll take it. We'll take it. I thought Frazier had a good game. I really do. They lost, but I don't know what else he could have done. Right?
I'm happy with the fact that he just said, screw it, and took out most of the defense and tried to add as much as we could to midfield and, and to the top to try to push to tie it up. So I love that. There's been a lot of coaches in the past that would not do that. And would just try to do their best, but you're already down. And so I just appreciated that, those are the things you got to do, even if it results in a 3-1, who cares? 3-1 versus 2-1. So I agree with you. Yeah. It was good to see kind of those kind of risky subs being made because they were necessary. Yeah.
Duane, I don't know what else to talk about. This game was just a bummer. It was a bad ending.
It was a long slog.
I don't have any other flowers to give out if I try.
Yeah. No, I got nothing.
Lewis and Cabral and Rubio, all of them were, each one of them probably had 3 or 4 moments where just a slightly better pass or defense being a quarter step slower. They were giving flowers to them because I think they put themselves in pretty good positions throughout the night, especially Cabral, who, while he's not making these dead sprints, right, he's kind of playing himself off of the pass before those, right? So can someone else make the break, whether it's on the flanks or wherever, and then he drifts into space.
Yep.
So he makes his defender react to both at once. And you see it, it hasn't connected yet. And it's a little frustrating because the speed is so obvious. Right. And he tends to use his speed horizontally more than he uses it vertically. And I want him to just see him go up. Like you're
that's
so much
really
faster than everyone.
Way to put that. Yeah, that's a super good way to put that.
And he also uses it in bursts, right? It's not like he's just running across the line to veer into a run. It's like here, back up, back over, drift. Close. I thought he was close. Logan's right. Yeah. Bombito, the high draft pick, the result of the Mark Anthony K trade. Right. So the 2 Canadians, Priso and Bombito, featuring tonight. I thought Bombito was fine. Won a couple headers. Was a nice big target in the box. From what I've heard, and this was a while ago, right? This was early on, but I heard that Maxu really loves playing with Bombito. Like
he's
from the second,
great.
From the second they got into real soccer, those two were playing a lot together and really clicked. So, whatever that means, this was months ago. This was just an early reaction I heard to him being in the team. But clearly a physical threat.
Yeah, and I've not heard the Maxu Bombito connection thing, but talking to some other folks around the club, like very high on the potential of Bombito. Like,
oh yeah,
like people in the club are amped about
like
him. So.
Let's get him out there and sell him to Europe for a nice chunk of change. And Logan nailed it. And I've described the MLS draft player pool to people who don't really follow MLS as the most picked over and the most known quantity draft on the planet, right? Like, if you as a soccer prospect are in the MLS draft, that means every academy team, not every, but on multiple continents have looked and
did not claim you,
did not want you in those roles, but now you're here in the MLS draft. And for him to be able to go from a Canadian academy to a junior college to D1 to the MLS and still and for now to have that much confidence in him is just exciting. It's exciting.
It was, like Logan's saying, it's a home run pick for MLS draft.
And physically, when you see him,
especially on defense,
yes,
you could take that to another level with MLS draft and defense. That is so rare, like just extra rare.
And it just physically just seems so much more intimidating and of an aerial threat than your Seb Andersons or Michael Edwards, who were available, right? But Bombito, physically, it's only Wilson and Maxu and Lawless that even compare on the field. So super exciting to see. Wish we saw Hanya. I almost don't know why we didn't.
I don't know why. It felt like just in case somebody else gets hurt.
Time was to pull one of, honestly, probably should have pulled Rubio, but whether it was Rubio, Lewis, Cabral, and push the other two just into a dual striker role and let Hanya and Ronan and either Leyva or Acosta or whoever kind of back them up, or Prizo eventually, but to let them kind of just figure that out with the two up top. But what are you
Hanya didn't even come off the bench to warm up until so late.
Yeah, I mean,
like everybody else. But as soon as you saw, everybody else had been working out for a while, and it was already like, I guess he was an insurance policy for maybe an injury. But you knew right away he wasn't getting any minutes when he didn't come.
Yeah, but why not just have Ollie be on the 18 or something then? Like, why use the short-term call-up? It doesn't really make a ton of sense.
I agree 100%, man. Like, it makes no sense to me.
It didn't really make any sense because you only get 2 more the rest of the season. So, oh well.
You want to address Justin's question of
how long do you think Galvan will be suspended for? I thought it would just be the red card suspension, but the whole spitting video. We're talking maybe 3 MLS games. Because I don't think red cards apply to Open Cup, so maybe we see him start Open Cup.
Yeah, I don't think they'll apply to Open Cup.
So you're probably going to see him start Open Cup and not play until a game or 2 after. Would be my guess.
Yeah.
Not looking good for our guys, Duane.
It's
not
just
good.
I'm so frustrated by that decision. It hurts the team so badly because we need him. Like, he is a needed player. I'm frustrated by that.
But that means we get Galvan in an Open Cup game, and that sounds fun to me. Atlanta midweek, we get an early 5:30 kick local time. Sign me up.
Love it. Love that for us.
Love it for us. Love it for super producer Kale.
Love that for Kale. He doesn't have to stay up late.
Because that's what 7, like maybe 8 o'clock start if we're taking our sweet time to get going.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We'll try and get it going early.
Anything else we didn't touch on? I mean, not having a home win in mid-May is crazy to me.
It's rough.
They've only played 5 home games though, so, and that's been against Philly, Kansas City, Minnesota, and LAFC, right? Plus tonight. So I mean, you're not, or what am I missing? SKC, Philly, LAFC, Minnesota. That can't be it. There has to be another. But the point is they're playing some pretty decent competition, right?
St. Louis.
They haven't got some. Oh, St. Louis. Also good competition.
I was running through my head.
Right? So I don't know. I was trying to find something good out of it, but there's not. That sucks. You gotta win at home. You gotta get 3 points at home.
It's gotta happen. It's a valid complaint from people. So
it sucks. There's no way to spin it either. I do think, I had some friends going to the game tonight. I saw them last night, and they were just asking me to fill them in on the Rapids. One's a Chelsea fan, one's a Tottenham fan. They don't watch a ton of MLS, but I was getting them to go. And I was like, man, the Rapids are actually I think they're actually pretty good. And I don't think I'm wrong in that. I think they're really good. You and I had this discussion
the other day.
They're a good team that has no clue how to win right now. They have no idea how to finish a game and win. You go up 1-0 and you blow it. They gotta win at home.
I feel like when we get into the box, we don't know what to do with the ball. And I will use Nicholson as an example. There was a play tonight. There was a play tonight that made me so mad that I just wanted him subbed off immediately. And like we said, I think he has answered the call. And for 95% of his game, he is great. Really plays well. And he is everything we've needed him to be. When he gets the ball anywhere near the goal, it's like he has some sort of hallucination, and there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the goal, and it's very scary, and he turns around and runs the other way with the ball. Like he had an open, dude, I sit right there. He ran up, he had an open lane all the way to the goal, and rather than run towards the net with the ball, he turned around with the ball and took it back out and sent it back to Ronan or somebody. And
he doesn't have that speed, and we were talking about this on press.
He didn't need the speed, dude.
No, I know, but
he knows that
he doesn't have. He knows that he doesn't have the bend or the touch with the ball at his feet that he had in his first go around here. He's just not as fast. He doesn't have it, and that just changes how he plays. Where he would rather pull up and make a clean pass with no pressure than try and make a play.
But it wasn't even a pass. Fast. It was running away.
No, but he wouldn't have got there. I'm talking about. I saw the play.
I know the play you're talking about. I am a large, slow, chubby man. I could have got the ball 10 yards to that net. It was a wide open lane.
No, I know what you're. I know the play you're talking about. There was no way.
Wide open.
Way. No,
wide open.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know why I'm defending Sam. I've been the biggest anti-Sam guy. I mean, not this year. This year I'm pro Sam. But
yeah, I'm a Sam guy. Always have been. But that, at least shoot the ball and hope for.
I mean, someone's got to score. It's not Rubio. Rubio still hasn't scored at home, right? He only has the one goal, right? Kansas City.
Yeah, the only people who have multiple goals are Cabral and Mikey.
Right.
I think I'm
so
right on
Rubio
that.
hasn't even scored at home yet. I'll tell you this. If Rubio scores at home, they're going to win whatever game he does that in. So whenever he gets that home goal, it'll be time. Man, condensed schedule coming up. Again, if it's a news week, if we get a big break in the Max story or something happens there, we'll probably go in the studio. But otherwise it's a 2-game week. So we'll be doing post game. And we'll go from there. We'll see what happens. Let's see. Dwayne, plug us out of here. Let's get KO out of here.
Oh man,
We're 55 minutes in.
I've been waiting to plug this.
You plug.
Here's what I got to plug.
What do you have to plug?
And I may be missing people. I'm only speaking to the ones I know. But we got a couple of graduates in the show tonight.
Hey-o.
We got Cody, who graduated. Congrats to you, my friend.
Attaboy, Cody.
And then our guy, Mitchell Carroll, with the graduation banner right behind him. Finishes school, gets it done. Man, congrats to you both. Love it. Huge thing. Not to be taken lightly. Big accomplishment. Proud of you both.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
Yeah. So just want to make sure you guys get shouted out. Shout out to C38 for another great tailgate. For everybody I got to see and hang out with. Dustin and Bray and Kevin supplying some bonus beverages out of the back of his Jeep today.
Jeep bevies. Let's go.
So it's always good to hang out with y'all. So appreciate you. Cool. If you haven't hit that like button, hit that like.
Oh, hit the like. How did we not say hit the like? Hit the like. If you're still here, hit the like.
Yeah. If you give us a review somewhere,
or you have to do the IOP to this.
Yeah. Help us out with a 5-star review or however many is the most. We'd really appreciate it. Certainly helps us out. It helps us to keep getting traffic to DNVR Rapids so that we can keep doing what we do and keep great things happening. So thanks for staying up late with us, everybody. Appreciate you.
Yeah,
hanging in there for another late night show.
Get your diehard membership. Nuggets playoffs the perfect time to have your diehard membership. You come to the bar, you get 15% off your tab, you get a merch discount. You get into the Discord channels. The bar is insane right now. Come down for these Nuggets playoff games. Get there an hour and a half to 2 hours early if you want to have a table. It's Western Conference Finals against LA. Like, come on. If you're a Denver fan,
if you're a Nuggets fan,
bar.
The Nuggets shirts are next level.
They are.
So I know we're pushing Rapid shirts, but
and our guy, super producer Kale, is Nuggets Twitter royalty. So make sure you're bumping his graphics and all his stuff that he puts out on top of all the Nuggets stuff he does. He's the man. So yeah, like I said, hit that like and subscribe and get your diehard. But more importantly, and until next time, baby, up the pit.